Hello everybody, my name is Kara, and today I'm here to talk about my TBRs for Latinx-a-thon and Latinx Book Bingo. So both of these readathons are happening during Latinx Heritage Month. Latinx Book Bingo is for, I think, the entire month, and Latinx-a-thon is, I think, for a little over a week, but I will put all of the information down below. Also, for the other readathons I plan to participate in during September, I already did a separate TBR video for that, so I will link that down below, which includes a sneak peek of a few of the Latinx books I hope to get to, but not all of them, so there will be some new books I'm excited to talk about. So I'm going to start with the books that I hope to read for Latinx-a-thon, and I'm also going to mention which bingo squares for Latinx Book Bingo those books fit, and then at the end I'll talk about the books that I'm specifically reading for Latinx Book Bingo that I didn't already mention. So Latinx-a-thon is hosted by Jocelyn from Yogi with the Book, Priscilla from Bookie Charm, Yvette from Book Cave, Andrea from Book Ramble, and they also have two new co-hosts this round, and that is Kathleen from For the Love of Books and Tosh from Her Nose Stuck in a Book. All of these wonderful people will be linked down below, of course, and the first prompt is Voices, and that prompt is to read a book by an Indigenous and or Black Latinx author. And for that one I have Nocturna by Maya Motain. Maya Motain is Afro-Latinx, and I think I actually first heard about this series from Jocelyn. I think the magic in this book is kind of based on families or something like that. And our main character is a girl who can, I think, shapeshift, or she can like change her face and disguise herself. And I think she's a thief, and she ends up teaming up with a prince because they accidentally unleash a terrible power, and then they have to work together to defeat it. I've been meaning to get to this one for a really long time, and it's finally gonna happen. The second prompt is Latinidad, and that is to read a book by an intersectional Latinx author. And for that one I have Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie McLemore. Anna Marie McLemore is a queer non-binary author and one of my favorite authors in the world. I have loved all of their books. I've kind of been like holding off on this one because I don't like the idea of not having any more books from them to read, but we are getting Miss Meteor very soon, I think in September maybe, and I think we're also getting another book from them early next year, so I think I can finally allow myself to read this one. I'm so excited about this. The prompt for Roots is to read a book that is translated or that prominently features more than one language, and bonus points if that language is not italicized. And I kind of have two picks for this one actually, because You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria would definitely work, and I think there's going to be a lot of Spanish spoken in this book. I'm just really looking forward to getting to this romance. And then the other book I want to get to for this prompt is Antigone Gonzalez by Sarah Uribe, translated by John Plecker. And I've been wanting to read this since Andrea actually recommended it, I think last year, for Latinx-a-thon. And this is actually half the book is in Spanish, and then the text is translated into English on the next page. And this is a retelling of the play Antigone by Sophocles, which is one of my favorite plays, and it's set in Mexico. And this book takes themes from Antigone and uses those things to explore people who disappear in Mexico and that kind of violence and grief. And I just remember Andrea speaking so highly of this, and I think it's going to be a really intense but really important and powerful book, and I'm glad I finally have a copy and I can get to it. I just realized I have been completely forgetting to talk about the Latinx Book Bingo prompts that these are going to cover, so let me go back and do that really quick. Nocturna counts for Backlist and for Afro-Latinx rep. Dark and Deepest Red counts for quite a few prompts. We have 2020 release, queer rep, intersectional main character. And I'm also going to count this for the award prompt, because even though this was longlisted for the National Book Award, like I don't think it won, I personally think being longlisted should count as getting a commendation from an award. You Had Me at Hola counts for an author I have not read before, a lighthearted Latinx book, and a Latinx book with on-cover rep. So back to the book I want to read for Heritage, which is to read a book by an author who is from a non-Spanish speaking Latin American country or heritage, such as Brazil or Haiti. And for that one I have Rebel Spy by Veronica Rossi, who is of Brazilian descent. And this is a historical fiction novel that I think is based on the true story of, what was the operative's name? A girl who was only known by 355, which I guess was her like code name. So she was actually a spy for the American colonists during the Revolutionary War, and this book is based on her and that story. It's like a fictionalization, I think, of that true, of that real person, because I don't think we know that much about her. So I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this book, but I am really intrigued by the premise, and yeah, looking forward to getting to that. I have enjoyed two other books that I've read by Veronica Rossi, so I think I'm gonna like that one. And then the last prompt is Latinx Lit Takeover, and that is to read the group book, which is By Any Means Necessary by Candace Montgomery. And then they also have a bonus challenge, which is inspired by the Asian Readathon created by Read with Cindy. And that's for every book you read to be from an author from a different country or background, so that you don't end up just reading books from like one kind of Latinx perspective. And I will be completing that prompt. Maya Motain's background is from the Dominican Republic, and Marie McLemore is Mexican American. Alexis Daria's family is from Puerto Rico, and as I already said, Veronica Rossi is of Brazilian descent. Another wonderful thing that Latinx-a-thon does every year is they link to a particular charity that they want to support and talk about and promote. And the one that they have chosen this year is the Black Latina Girls and Women Fund. So I will link that information down below. Please consider donating. I know I've been super behind on book hauls, so I haven't been talking about the specific charities I am choosing to donate to as part of my book hauls. But I'm really glad they highlighted that one because that is definitely the charity I will be focusing on for one of my next book hauls, whether that is September or August. So the Black Latina Girls and Women Fund does a lot of important work, and that fund is through Afro-Resistance, and it aims to help other Black Latinx women who are in severe financial need for things like food or healthcare, especially in the wake of COVID-19. So they do a lot of wonderful work, and again, I will leave that information down below. So now moving into the last few books that I have that are for Latinx Book Bingo. The first one I have is for the prompt of a book that is recommended by a Latinx blogger. And I could have picked several for this, but I wanted an excuse to pick this one up, and that is Virgin, Poems by Analicia Sotelo. And I actually heard about this from Priscilla over at Bookie Charm. She talked very highly about this in a review. I will link that video down below. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to getting to this collection. By the way, the hosts for the Latinx Book Bingo are Paula from Paula Guerrero, Ali from Ali with Books, and Sophia from Sophia in Bookland. Another book I hope to read that I did mention in that previous TBR video is Lobizona by Romina Garber. I know this book has werewolves in it, and our main character is a girl named Manu, and she and her family are undocumented immigrants, and I think her mother is taken by ICE one day, and Manu ends up learning a lot more about her family and her heritage. I also heard that there's like a magical school setting that comes up later in the book, and I've also heard this book does a really great job with a lot of really important themes like immigration and family and culture, and just really looking forward to it. And I'm using this for the prompt of an immigrant story, a book that is set in, or the main character is from Latin America, and our main character Manu is from Argentina, and also for the prompt that is a book cover that has the flag colors of a Latinx country. So I wanted to do one that actually fit the heritage that the book was talking about. So I'm going to use this for the Argentinian flag. Just a stunning cover overall. And finally, the last book I'm going to talk about is Running by Natalia Sylvester. I think Andrea actually included this in her recommendations for this year. This is a contemporary novel about our main character who I think she is Cuban American, but I think the author is Peruvian. And our main character, her father is, I think, running for office, and she has never been super engaged with politics, but she starts paying more attention, and she starts realizing that her father may stand for things that she doesn't agree with and that are not right. So I think this is about her journey, and I've heard really great early reviews. Actually, I think I could have used this book for the flag prompt too, because the colors of the Peruvian flag are red and white, and there's definitely a lot of red and white on here. Okay, everybody, so those are all the books I hope to get to for Latinx Book Bingo and for Latinx-a-thon. It is quite a few, but because I'm doubling up so much with the other books I talked about, I think we're going to be okay, and I'm really excited to get to all of these. Please let me know if you guys are participating in either or both of these readathons, and let me know a Latinx book that you are excited to get to. Could be for a readathon, could just be in general. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!